Yakuyedrego, Ibrogwejo, Omaye Nanso, Yamfa Kroya, Emwa, Yakuyedrego, Ibrogwejo, Omaye Nanso, Obiaranya Famudio, Omaye Benyan Koso, Gana Betu Bono, Omaye Nanso. Obiaranya na famudio minye Omaye Benyan Koso Gana Betu Bono.
Build a website you love with Wix, where your words create your brand, your opportunity, your breakthrough. Wix.
When life leaves you short on supplies, send for the cavalry. Our freshness promise means your fresh groceries arrive fresh, or you get your money back. Yeehaw! Deliveroo now just got even better.
Yakuyedrago, Tigrogwajo, Mumaye Nanso, Yamfa Groya, Emwa, Yakuyedrago, Mine, Tigrogwajo, Mumaye Nanso, Obiaranya Famudio, Oma Benya Koso, Gana Betu Bono, Omaye Nanso. Obiaranya famudio minye Oma benya koso Gana betu bono Gana betu bono Ghana man, yeah, what I would you? No, may you make us say, won't find home. My yen and some young far, oh, yeah, and more. Yabuye Drego, Zibron Guajo, my yen and some young far, oh, yeah, and more. Yabuye Drego, Zibron Guajo. Obiaranya famudio o my benya koso Ghana betu bono o my nyina nsom obiaranya famudio miye o my benya koso Ghana betu bono
Thomas Ohineba Boache ena masa atenase ewo Bethel Radio and TV ye bedi nkomo Bethel nkomo enne me wopanyi kese pa enne menini bedi nkomo ewo fie ha sei enne ewiase nyina etie Bethel nkomo aha na Ghana kasa aha na ewiase kasa aha na NPP kasa enne mosomfo Thomas Ohineba Boache na matenase a ye ba bedi nkomo Bethel nkomo na yahwe kwan ye befa so a NPP Presidential Primaries yi kwan ye befa so a ebe ya ama na ye kama ye ne mpanyifo no gusu a edi nkomo ye ne presidential aspirant ne chitafo edi nkomo ye ne mpanyifo a omo aweda wo party mu edi nkomo egusu a ye ne omudi nkomo enne ye toa so ewo Bethel Radio and TV na yahwe kwan ye befa so a NPP ye beko ye nimu ene ye ni panyi kese ba kupa na ebedi nkomo former chairman of NPP Iura Mike Ansa ene ye ni bedi nkomo waye chairman ewo NPP UK Nyankopon adaroma ye ba ban mu so no sa akọ Ghana ekosom NPP man ene Ghana man nti ene ye ni bedi nkomo wasa ye vice president for Dell company no so yene no ebedi enkomo ewo afidie ha sei yo ene aboafo a esomasne ema mede dwumadie ebreo Livingstone Healthcare Livingstone Healthcare ene somasne amede Bethel enkomo ebremo nti so obi di waba abrochie na wonya adwuma nya a oni kire Livingstone na ombeboa ama wonya adwuma saa so na opa adwuma part time full time ni nyina no mbetimi aboa aso wasena ma watimi enya adwuma ni bi nti for oni kire Livingstone healthcare saa so na Bethel videography and photography omoso asomasene ane mede dwumadie ebrel nti no hyene so se opa photos any video a for oni kire Bethel photography and videography na ombeboa ama wanya obetima from 07 5483 42670 0754 83 Bethel photography and videography program bi a woye bi auto nsafre ya yebeba na ya ba bebo saa so na Italia Nursery eso ye school sronko a apie mu ewo Boramwood omoso no ehwe nkra from 1 year to 15 years ope baby de oba akọ na adwuma bi asua de ama na adwuma bi a na Italia Nursery omobeboa ama watimi enya baby asua ade saa so na Palm Island Lounge eno so ewo housing se ope Ghana aduane edipa de a obenya no Palm Island eho ena obenya Ghana aduane ni nyina bi edi nti for oni kire Palm Island ewo housing neko na ni omunkodi nsawoso na ombetimi aboa ama wanya aduane bi a ope Ghana aduane bi a onya se banku mutuo diehuo kebab nam bi a ope bia ne drinks bi a ope bia so no obenya bi wo Palm Island saa so ena adwumakuo maako nan na so masene ene mede Bethel nkomo de ebrel no nyankopon ya adoma birthdays me nuanom bi di omo birthday ene me nuanom bi edi omo birthday nana baafo me senior no no e obu Chrome Estate nana unia me ma happy birthday nyankopon sha nana baafo omo akwantenten ahoden ene sika bebre nana happy birthday saa so na me nua ba Angela yes Angela Usu Seche, yes, Minia Bano, no, Menina ne obo Chrome Estate, or no so, nay any birthday, Intiminia, me ma happy birthday. Yo, and ne, Chema one in town, yes, we graduate, yeah, Chema one in town, with all the politics and everything. Chema one in town, yes, Birmingham chapter chairman. Birmingham chapter chairman one in town ono so nyankopon adaroma ene wa graduate kama pa nti chairman one in town ma otri nkwa se nyankopon adaroma watimi graduate Birmingham chapter chairman with the politics and everything ni nyina so no osabo ne homodin asua de nti chairman congratulations on behalf of Bethel Radio and TV ni adwumayefo ye wo ha nyina no ye ma congratulations nyankopon hira opa na onye wakoma so ade nyina ma wo yo ene embre ne ko nti no papers buy and ye bebo so hye papers ene ba adwa so no ye be ko ne hye na yakọ ntem na yakọ line no so straight away na me ne ye me guest ene edi nkomo ene ye nche mre no kra ye Ohiniba news eba ene edwa ene Ohiniba news eba ye saa so na ye other papers so by Ohiniba news the daily guide na Jane picks Haruna afenyo Markins ene kasa no ne the dispatch also President Mahama reviews what keeps him awake at night. And also, the Ebetoja the Times, Temamoto Way expansion 35% complete. And also a Ghanaian time. The Daily Graphic, delegate Ekotua Bano and Juwai Sidi Ababetujano. And also the Hawk newspaper, Mian Kasami Nia Bako, Charles McCarthy. And the paper no the Hawk was stability not the finish line and no any other stories war on Hiniba news yes Kennedy has the urgency to fix Ghana problems and no kwakuku atin the atuja any papers other papers buy nti no ko na okwa obenya papers ni bi na working kind and papers buy ejano straight away mekwa ahoma no so na mene the former NPP UK chairman Eddie Nkomo Ira Mike Ansa Eddie Nkomo na yahwe nyankopon ya adoma yenim se presidential primaries baso wasum party wo NPP UK ha na nyankopon adaroma nanado sabo ni di ma ne kohwe bauxite so ene ni bedi Nkomo na ye busa no ni journey so far as NPP UK chairman and also remwa rise ya na nkopon adaroma na do born abaso e ma ne be ye CEO of Guidec and also ye ne bedi nkomo presidential primaries e baso yi e de no wo kan ho ye ne bedi nkomo Chema Mike Anzamba Jotimenka Chema Mba Jotimenka
Okay.
Meton kapa chairman me da CP chairman Mike Ansa former NPP UK branch chairman saa so na Guidec and also CEO Nyankopon Adaroma na do so bo ne din the position baako vice president for their group of company and no mebusa ne mu na ne journey so far chairman official pa
I think committee you money adwuma so
now what to say
whether we're inviting me to this beautiful radio station 130 and my greetings also to your cherished listeners and see mebo abaso adwuma kese awoye radio station
yo me da CP chairman Minim say why a vice president for their company, who experience at the leadership level and other multinational organization like Dell, no? How do you your corporate background prepare you for a public service? What can you say? Yes.
A question the Muyedru. I'm saying what here for DOS and TM say it's better I start from the beginning.
Yes.
Nyame adom, nyame de wa ye di pardon. Sebi. Me trainee as an architect for Ghana, or USD. Now me trainee as an architect. In the initial career, no, I started practicing architecture. Na eko mun we koye MBA. Na eno de me call business management, business administration, consulting, yada. Now, nyame adom, I've been blessed with a sterling career to date. I'll say, Juma ma Juma world-class organizations. Wabo to say Dell Technologies, my Juma PricewaterhouseCoopers, IBM Business Consulting Services, my Juma Regis Business Centers, as I say, International Workplace Group, any world-class companies we bring. Nti nyame adom Dell may rise up to senior vice president for Dell Technologies, looking after operations in 180 countries. Nti ukaya Abraham NPP chairman na meta tu kwan pa kwama no any ade ni nyina no said Dell is headquartered in Austin and Boston. Nti na meta ko US, Asia, ne rest of Europe, ne other parts of the world. Nti it was a full-on work. Now, the corporate world, no, it prepares you for politics in many ways. First of all, you are dealing with different cultures. Well, we can't different cultures. Only India for a year, Juma, and now only Japan for a year, Juma, and now only Chinese for a year, Juma, Europeans, Americans, we are very different outlook. Of course, Africans, and so a very different outlook. Inti Adibako share me is how to work with different cultures. Never jelly cultures together, how to work with different people, bringing people together, bringing, America said, multidisciplinary teams together. Teams are diverse. It be leadership teams, they will be for Japan, will be for India, will be for Korea, will be for America. Will be back from a different angle. And it presents a very rich regime, to manage at an international level and to drive what was a multi-billion dollar business, globally. Into a chairman, a chairman a lot about change management, a chairman a lot about, of course, finance, business decisions, being able to think very quickly on issues like that. Into overall, make us say the corporate world prepares you for public service or for business in a way which is unique. In a lot of the things that I've done. Well, given where I started my career from architecture, program management, and everything, and then going into business management and ending up in a very high position in a place like Dell, it was very good training and very good grounding. I worked for some very, I can't say, big names. Michael Dell, they're working with them closely. Mark Dixon at Regis. The pioneer of business centers and people like that. You meet people like that and you learn from them in terms of their discipline, their approach, their strategic thinking, and their decision making. And all these things, help to position me for things that I've done up to now.
Yo, a year chairman Mike Ansa. A former NPP UK chairman, and I NND. Chairman, Mami Musa, Nyoma Wabubosu na DN motivate you and inspire Oma free cooperative a year word to active politics.
It's a very good question. Who said politics? No, Sebi Eduasa. Me starting yet, you woman to political family. My grandfather from 1951 was involved in Ghana's Constituent Assembly. When we need elections, 54, 56, local parliament, First Republic, a first member of parliament for Akwemu constituency, in the friend Akwemu constituency, in the friend of Sujaman. And he was the first MP there. Or several in First Republic, my papa, and so followed him in America to call Parliament, and also call MP in the First Republic, any Third Republic. In a cabinet minister, Liman Abreso, Third Republic. Now he was a cabinet minister. Into politics, the idea have grown around politics. Medana Bema yeko rallies, Mofrana rally, me papa, I saw a lot growing up in politics, and also to say national service. We share the work that they were doing now. That is what motivated me. Say working with a sense of national service, knowing say you are serving your nation, you want to be part of building a nation. Ghana is only 68 years old, relatively in historical terms. We're a young country, but of course we've grown up now to a point where we have to stand on our own 2 feet. And they were part of that beginning. That's our process. I saw the beginnings of that in terms of not so much First Republic, but certainly in the Third Republic. After Third Republic, and so Rollins power. Now I'm a student leader. In fact, now I'm running for NUCS president. Coup nearby because my papa NPP, cabinet minister at the time. I had to sort of step aside in running for the national president of NUCS. I became the national vice president, first national vice president of NUCS. I was very much involved in NUCS and running student politics. Mene Damboche Nomne, Hans Jabba Noma, Sabi Nomne, we're all student leaders at the time. Really fighting for democracy in Ghana during that period. My formative years in politics, starting here. Okay, me developing along those lines, right up to advocating for the return to democratic rule. The former parties, to say NPP near the and of course, me joining NPP, given the history of what I've been doing in the 1980s, my student politics days, the groups I was associated with. I joined NPP because of my conviction that a liberal democratic tradition like NPP, setting up on those grounds, was in a strong position to take Ghana to the next level. So I joined the party at that time, and I've been working in the party, as you know, since then. Yeah. But I just want to stress my political underpinnings. I grew up, I was trained, developed in political home, and grew up with a clear understanding of the need for public service, especially in a nation like Ghana.
Medasi P. Chairman, Mami Musa we say join NPP UK 2013 Auntie Jennifer Daroma me join that time na who say na election be koswa Nyankopon Daroma party no year wadom ma obeye NPP chairman. Na ye be call general election and ye very critical yako 2008 and ye yako 2012 and ye Supreme Court and also a Butia. Na that time no a very critical part ni ebe call election 2026. Now ye chairman me who say engagement with the presidential candidate and the vice presidential candidate organizing programs we bring under your leadership. A dear role na those engagements boy am I it me koji to me 2026 NPP UK as NPP UK chairman then.
Yeah, the question we're framing here because 2014 to 2018, the period I'm serving as chairman, it was a very crucial part in the development of NPP. Me rewind the Akobe say beginning of 2000s, Kufuor be a president near the Saturday, I'm a member of the executive of NPP. I'm Pichun time. Now I'm Pichun the chairman. I was a member of the executive. We worked through many things, etc. In fact, me began to work in the Kufuor administration. Okay, Millennium Challenge account. Now many interim CEO. Yet driving the development of the MCA near the Adebra Yebui N1 Nekra Kufuor Bomabaso on the work that I did, the foundational work that I did that set up, that led to the setting up of Millennium Development Authority, which is MEDA. I'd been involved. I'd had a taste of working in the public service then. And so I'm Samba UK. Now me ba UK na who said in the core position from 2008. So now I'm saying given where we were as a party, he said I'll get deeply involved again in the affairs of NPP UK. Okaya, me ran for NPP UK chairman as far back as 2002. Many am preaching. And I lost that election. So 12 years after that, I said, no, this is the time for me to step back into the ring to actually run for NPP UK chairman. Now, I have many many champion of champions because on BT me in attack with BT, no BT attack with into many champion of champions. Yeah, they can't assembly yesterday. But the three of us worked very closely together in many ways at the beginning of our time. No, MPP international conferences and you say it was my brainchild. Me introduced you the idea of MPP international conferences, but I make campaigning for chairman. And Pichun winning, we adopted it. Atakufiba, we adopted it. We pushed it. We held the first conference, etc. The time, another conference in 2015. All the idea was, how do we bring diaspora branches together to become effective organs in prosecuting and winning elections and supporting the party? Well, in Nyama Bibreso. In the time, I'm a chairman, 2014 to 2018 also. It culminated with Nyama Wakikanka to say, we lost the Supreme Court ruling in 2013. You lose our ruling, no. Adeyabua MPP UK, in a sense, in terms of our development, His Excellency President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, Obetna UK, 2013, from August, they call after ruling, Obetna UK for quite a long time, for a few months. During that time, no, yes, you think thinking about the nation, thinking about even he was thinking about whether I was going to run again. And during all of this time, no, it dawned on me strongly, said, no, I ought to run for chairmanship to help to build this party and to drive this party back to government. Indeed, it was a very strong, if you like, calling for me to say, look, this is something I want to do. In spite of the corporate work I was doing and everything, I want to commit a lot of time and effort to helping to build NPP UK. Now, I think I can say what NPP UK can say. NPP UK has always been blessed with great leaders. Leaders who have built a strong base for the party. Indeed, there's a rich culture in NPP UK, from J.H. Mensah time to Boy and Anoma, rather to J.H. Mensah, S.K. Boafo, Ajay Bewa, Tina Kumenyi, Atakrufi, Ampechum. We all grew up, especially Ampechum, Atakrufi, we grew up studying from these people. So, and that gave us a rich culture, a rich understanding of the traditions, the values, the things that have formed NPP. So, that's what we try to inculcate in the leadership that we offered. It was a continuum. It was a continuum. We fought in elections, but we worked together, and even till today, we're very joined to the hip in terms of the things that are happening, around us. We have great chairpersons who laid the foundations for our party. And me coming after all these people, I stood on their shoulders, if you like, to continue the good work which had long established our branch as an indisputable premier external branch. There's no question about that. The build is now, for me, that period of my chairmanship culminated in a time and we had the overwhelming task of bringing the party from opposition to government. Okay. And delivering a machinery, NPP UK as a machinery that was capable of supporting the mother party back home to win elections. Into everything that we had to do, a lot of work had happened during Atakrufi's 2 terms to build a party. I continued on that. We built, if like, a formidable branch. During my time, we grew the branch significantly. The branch chapter network, we grew from about 3 chapters to about 12 when I was leaving office, with several chapters also in formation. And these structures that we put in place positioned us strongly to be able to mobilize people and resources to be able to support the party back home. You see, all of these things, helped to build the basis of a branch party that was arguably better than, when I say arguably positioned to support the party in a very strong way to winning the elections. And you see the work that we did in 2016. I'll come to address that as we go. The other thing that I will say in terms of formation of NPP UK, is that MPP itself had roots in the UK. You know, the formation of MPP, if you look at the history, some of these leaders that I've talked about, Brian Anoma, J.H. Mensah, etc., were leaders of the party, nationally, so to speak. And a lot of counsel and direction that they provided to the party at the time the party was being formed, late 90s, late 80s to 1992, when the party was actually birthed. Indeed, a lot of work went on in the UK, which makes the UK a very core part of NPP as a whole. You see, and this helped us to effectively be a fulcrum. High-profile people like A2 Quine, whether it's executives of the party, from national chairman, general secretary, all those people, leading members of the party, they come to the UK and they do a lot of things with us and be part of various programs and things that we organize. So NPP UK had a very strong position and continues to have a strong position in terms of how things are being run. So if I look at, what that period of my chairmanship, delivered at, I would say that it was an inflection point. We needed to sharpen the party to be able to prepare to support the mother party in opposition and to deliver victory in 2016. And this is effectively what we were able to do, to be able to drive the party back to government.
Chairman, Medasibi, Mami Musa we na 2016 election was very tough. A dear pan and motivate ya a ma diaspora no rule my player it me a winning to me at that time. Even though say na the election was tough, but you were able to help to push a dear and motivate you.
In terms of motivation, party. I came into this believing that NPP is the party that can drive development in Ghana. NPP is the party that can deliver real growth in Ghana. Of course, your party, your challenges. Things happen. Sometimes we veer, of course. We've had 2 periods in government. Sometimes global challenges come our way and all of that. But we'll share right down to the core. We are the party that is best positioned to defend democracy. We founded democracy, but to sustain democracy, to drive its development, and to link democracy to development. That's what we talk about, development and freedom. Ideologically, philosophically, and everything, we are better positioned, to deliver change and to deliver real and tangible progress in Ghana. So, in terms of motivation, these foundational things, help to drive all of us, myself and others. Make us say, I would like to, even commend, I was blessed enough to have a very strong executive. Dumbo of blessed memory, was my first vice chairman. David Yanoma, Stephen Debra was treasurer. David was second vice chairman. Ray Ankra, Num Pani, Said, Nanaya Sapon, Marlon, and also of blessed memory, Veru Hemi, Sheridum, Eni Aisha, Kofi Kosa. All these people were members of my administration who helped to drive the kinds of change I'm talking about. Of course, we also had a very strong, resources was going to be crucial to any election victory. We continued with a fundraising committee that had been set up, going all the way back to Atakrufi time. I retained Alex Dade as chairman of fundraising committee. He helped to build fundraising, and we organized some very big events. We were able to raise, under my leadership, well into 6 figures in terms of resources that we used to support the branch. And we also built a youth cadre, that were a backbone of the party. Young people who were ambitious for the party, who were working tirelessly for the party. Kojo Yankanom, they put their lives, again of blessed memory, they put their lives behind the party and worked really hard to support the organization in the UK, which of course we catapulted to Ghana. Okay, these were what I'll call significant contribution, but it came from a team that was committed to a particular purpose, a team that was united in terms of clarity of our vision, how we were executing it, and that were driving all these things in line with the values that we all shared. Another thing, so I make us motivate and say, like I said, His Excellency Nana Addo spent a lot of time in the UK. In fact, we call him an honorary member of the branch to a certain degree, and that also helped us in terms of gingering the branch and motivating the branch to work hard. Another thing again is the organization, of the other diaspora branches under the auspices of the international conferences that we held. In my time, for instance, there was one in 2015. I remember in Amsterdam, I delivered a keynote address there on various things that we have to do there. Seeing the international conference grow to become what it was from the beginnings of what I proposed. Was really gratifying. Then the other thing was the expanded membership that we had delivered. Had focused on really building NPP out of London. NPP, traditionally, NPP UK was in London, North and South London, etc. So in my time, we decided to say we'll build on the chapter network that was started, to say Manchester, Milton Keynes, Birmingham, they were looking at even Scotland. But we grew from 3 recognized chapters that voted at the time I was running for chairman, effectively London, Manchester, and Milton Keynes, to over 12 chapters at the time I was leaving office. This expansion broadened us outside of the UK, to Scotland and Wales and other parts, Midlands and all parts of the UK. The idea was that NPP should be thriving in every part where there is a Ghanaian community, in a way which will make us work well. So in terms of motivation, you have to go back and look at where Ghana was at in 2016, the kind of governance that Ghana has seen from especially 2012 to 2016 under the then Mahama administration, or the first Mahama administration, if I can put it that way. And the nation was on its knees. It needed real visionary leadership. It needed bold leadership. It needed somebody who could, come in and take the nation and cut a real cause for change. Okay. And luckily we were part of the thinking, the ideas that evolved, that made us believe that these are things that can be delivered with NPP in government. Yeah. Of course, His Excellency Nana Addo provided that leadership. So all of those things motivated us to say that, look, Ghana can be a far better place. Ghana can be far better governed. Ghana can be led in a way that will help us to achieve the ideals and the dreams that our forebears, dreamt of. And those are the things that motivated someone like me to contest for chairman.
Thank you very much. Chairman Mike Ansa, and then you didn't come Bethel Radio and TV. Chairman, about the chapters under your leadership from 3 to 12. There has been concerns the chapters now say too much, as yet it's too much. What do you say about that? And also,
yes, me one thing and not setting up chapters. I always focus on cohesion of the branch. Cohesion of the branch. With the UK, there's a reason why in the UK there's devolved administration. Scotland has a devolved parliament. Wales has a devolved parliament. Northern Ireland has a devolved devolved assemblies. Why is it that England does not have a devolved assembly? Because the moment you dissolve England and break England into parts, you will weaken Westminster. This was something that I firmly believed in. During my time, we were growing chapters, but the chapters were always under the direction and authority of the branch party. Everything was centralized, in that sense, the authority was centralized in London. Okay, and because London's where the headquarters of the party was. Okay, what we have to do is to look at the constitution of NPP UK and make sure that the chapters are working in what I'll call a very contributory way to help to establish the party, instead of creating different pockets of authority across the entire UK. Because without that cohesion, you are breaking the party's strength and the party's authority as a whole. When we formed chapters, we made sure that the chapters operated under strict guidelines. We went through a process of, you need to go through a process to qualify to become a chapter. You need to spend some time as a chapter in formation. And then we need to go and qualify you before we inaugurate the chapter. When we inaugurate the chapter becomes part of the family of NPP, growing the NPP in different parts of the UK, but recognizing that when we come together, the central branch, which is the that was headquartered in London, had the authority to be able to manage the affairs across the entire UK. I think the problem we have now is that it's getting too large and unwieldy, and we should break the UK up. You can't continue to form chapters for as many cities as exist in the UK. You might end up with 200, 500 chapters. There's a reason why in Ghana the parliament has 275 members, because we've broken it up into constituencies. In the same way, we should break NPP UK into governing areas, which in my view should not be more than 12 or 15, right? And each will have what you call a chapter. Each will be organized around that one chapter. So if that whole jurisdiction or geography is around Milton Keynes, Luton, Northampton, and all those places, it should all be represented by one chapter. I mean, a city that is a few miles from Milton Keynes, if you take Northampton, Milton Keynes, and Luton, they are all within very short distances. So why should we have 3, 4, 5 chapters? I'm being provocative in this, but I think we should look at making it administratively unwieldy. We shall say 14, 15, however many territories will form the chapters. Those are the sort of things that we should think about. Otherwise, we might end up with 20, 40, 50, 100 chapters in no time.
Chairman, somebody will also say that we need the numbers. So going forward, it would have been appropriate to bring the chapter or the party to the doorsteps of some members so that they will get involved. Don't you think that?
That's exactly the reason why we started the chapter expansion, to bring the party to the doorsteps of people. But in the same way as you limit the number of constituencies you have in Ghana, or even in the UK, in that same way, you have to limit the number of chapters that you can form, so that everybody can be, within the chapters, there can be wards or zones where you still have organization. The key thing is to make sure, say, within every, place where there are several Ghanaians and things, you can have wards, you can have other things, but they all come together as one chapter. Ultimately,
yeah.
Into the party will go down to where people are, but you also have to manage. I don't know, Beeston in Northampton. Or chapter in Beeston. Beeston Ben Nottingham, but it's a suburb of Nottingham. So if you are not careful, you might end up with N chapters in the Nottingham area alone. And that's what I'm saying, is that we need to think through the jurisdictions or the way we break up the UK and the number of governing areas that we have to allow us to be able to reach people. So instead of every city, NPP, now see, one man is also a setting up chapter, 10, 20, 100, setting up chapter. I think we should, it's a bit too lax. We need to think through that and have a constitution that will be a living constitution, not one that is, expanding, in a way that may make it unmanageable.
Chairman Mike Asai Dasipi. You didn't come on you corporate your background, your bar party, politics, NPP UK, one my background on the coin far so we Jumadema Ebeji to me 2016. Yankupon ya adomo ye ba bemono. Nanado Emma appointment as the CEO of Guidec. What was your mandate at Guidec?
Okay. Coming back to, of course, coming to 2016 and things. Me say winning power. No, it took about 2 years before I was able to pull myself out of my corporate role to be able to come and serve in government. Since another approach, me say, me made the Guidec, no, now I'm say okay. The stand up said me, I'll come, because this was something that he wanted to set up to be one of the key things that he will leave as a legacy to the country. Now, we'll share Guidec now. When we came to power, it took about 2 years for us to go to Parliament to get a bill to create Guidec near Diadema. Because I started my role in 2019, which was in the 3rd year of our administration. we went on and built what I'll say a strong backbone for GIADEC. Its legislative Nema, looking at the whole structure of GIADEC, how it was set up, what it will do, how it will deliver industrialization. We engage a whole host of people in Ghana, all kinds of stakeholders. So, in you develop a master plan. You develop a master plan, then we went to the market to look for partners. You selected partners. Maybe deliver integrated aluminum industry, not just mining, but mining and refining, and even a plan for how we're going to retrofit Valco. 2020 election results, by wouldn't say you lose significant part of our majority in parliament. We had a majority of 1. And that, of course, made things very difficult in terms of getting things through parliament. So, Inti, back to your question, which is what Pato, stress a question. Maybe I'm making sure I'm not going off course.
Mandate I did no as a guide, any say achievement I will buy and ultimately achieve here at guide.
Sorry, I just want to stay close on the question. First of all, the focus of GIADEC was to build an integrated aluminium industry. This is a dream that Ghana has held going back to the First Republic. So it's not been able to be delivered up till now. Now, what Nanado did cleverly was to set up legislation that created GIADEC for the first time. Until we had an entity that was focused purely on driving an integrated aluminum industry plan. Yet the Valco share GIADEC, yet the bauxite resources, Ghana share GIADEC, they're 900 million metric tons. For the first time, we were able to conduct a real survey that identified the quantity of resources that we had. So in my first year, we had to get all these foundations. So we need the number of resources that the resources that you have. You can't take it to do anything that was bankable, to go and raise money or anything. Until you carry out mineral resource estimates, spent a lot of money, a lot of effort to do all of that. In neighboring America, say it is the work that we did building an MRE and getting all that information in a government used to say to go and raise money for GIADEC to do various things. So in the first 2 years, we managed to put these foundation things in place. We managed to get the MRE. We managed to develop a master plan, and we went on through to select partners to partner Ghana in the development of an integrated aluminum industry. I did to focus on this, to focus on this thing. I wanted Ghanaians to be at the heart of what we were doing. What role could Ghanaian companies play in this? How do we indigenize this so that we don't end up with foreigners coming in with massive capital and taking control of the whole industry? Partners are selected, Rockshore, for instance. Rockshore International is a wholly owned Ghanaian company, was one of our key partners. We selected Metlin, which is a Greek company, European integrated aluminum industry company. So we had a foreign arm, we had the Ghanaian arm. And then ultimately, Awaso, which is the mine that we already had. Ultimately, we ended up putting that into the hands of a Ghanaian entity. Okay, so OPCL is the company that has the majority stake in Awaso mine. So we delivered indigenization of the basis of the integrated aluminum industry with OPCL at Ghana Bauxite Company, with partners like Rockshore, and then of course we have the international arm as well with Metlin. Okay, now in the second term, we were able to put the ratification of the leases for these two entities or for the Rockshore lease before Parliament. It was there for 6 months before the 8th Parliament ran its term. Political football. One thing that we tried to do was to build consensus between NPP and NDC. So there's a national agenda that we should all support to be able to bring this to fruition and to be able to bring everybody to participate in this. Mene, Ubia, Kasai, all kinds of people who were previously involved, going back to the NDC time, asking all of them to participate. Some of them chose not to participate. But in the end, Parliament, it became a political football. We were able to ratify the lease for Ghana Bauxite Company, which thankfully was done, about 6 months to that time. The Rockshore one became, effectively what I can only call political football. In the end, that was not ratified. And for me, that was a huge setback Because if that had been done, where we are at today would have exceeded that by far. And Metlin will also have gone far in terms of what they're trying to do. So the vision of the integrated aluminum industry still lives on, and credit to His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo for creating GIADEC and for bringing that into the consciousness of Ghanaians. Because the dividends of what GIADEC can deliver for Ghana as a whole is huge. Okay, today GIADEC still stands. We try to elevate it to the national agenda. It's part of the national development plan, and it's something which I still believe strongly that if it's driven well and driven in its entirety, it can bring a lot of transformation to Ghana as a whole. It's part of our industrialization plan. In fact, one of the central plans of our industrialization plan. We've now defined all the resources that we have to international standards. We've created a situation where what we have there is now bankable and raise funding for what we want to do. And there's a master plan that is being followed in some ways currently, but has been broken up in a sense, but it's being followed in a way to deliver a fully integrated plan. So for me, these are very crucial things that we're able to do. And from the bigger picture point of view, this is something that will help drive diversification of the Ghanaian economy, something that will build a strong industrialized base, which was the dream going back to the First Republic, Nkrumah's sort of industrialization agenda. But what Nana Addo has done is to position this at the heart of our industrialization plan, something that will drive growth, deliver jobs, and deliver real prosperity for the nation. Of course, it also comes with huge challenges, and those are some of the things that we try to grapple with. Wouldn't say Awaso is about 250 miles from Takoradi Port. Yinehin is also about 200 and something, roughly the same 220, 250 miles. Driving, tracking everything to Takoradi is a huge challenge. Well, the proposal to build a railway, which is something that we were focused on, which has still not been done, is something that is crucial if we are serious about this, delivering it in its entirety. And of course, raising funding so that Ghana, as a partner to various firms that will deliver this, has the funding to be able to go to the table. For me, infrastructure funding were some of the key challenges that we had to grapple with. And these are something that I pray the current administration will look at in making sure we can deliver on this dream.
Chairman Mike Ansa, former NPP UK branch chairman, and Osaya, former CEO of GIADEC. Chairman, Ebeba, Parliament, you had a parliamentary ambition, Ebeba ho, and presidential primaries, so Ebaho. But Musa will say, what a lesson, what take you from public sector leadership?
Very interesting. The real kind of experience in public sector. As I said, this is the first time I know my public sector role that but of course, this one was more full on number of years and everything that I spent here. I'm saying essentially, you have to recognize that you are here to serve people. The people are your boss. What they say is what you must listen to. Your ears must be very close to the ground. You must hear what people are saying and act in concert with that. And someone who's to say you are dealing with a whole number of stakeholders, from civil society to whether structures like parliament, local authorities, traditional rulers, all kinds of groups. You have to learn the skill to bring all these disparate groups together to be able to achieve an end. Convincing people, bringing people along with you is crucial. Your skills of being able to, as it were, bring people along in decisions that you're making comes to the fore, especially in the public sector, because you are accountable to the people. You have to bring your stakeholders along with you, and you have to together present a unified position in a number of things that you are doing. So that was a key part of it. In the private sector, you're driving quite a single agenda, and you can, drive a coach and horses through things to get things done. But in the public sector, you've got to be intentional in bringing people along and making sure that you communicate effectively. I think one of the key skills in public service is communication. Being able to communicate the intent of what you are doing, making sure people understand, making sure you resource your communication machinery properly to be able to send the message out there on a regular basis. The other thing to that you learn quickly is that resources is not infinite. We are working for a company like Dell Corporation. They can sign billions of dollars to undertake things. In the public sector, one is not like that. There are so many competing priorities that government has to address, whether it's education or health or infrastructure or all sorts of things. So these competing priorities mean that you have to struggle for resources with other of these priorities. But you need to find ways in which you can bring these resources to bear. And in GIADEC, we made a decision early on, to really go with the private sector as opposed to expecting government to put this down. But importantly, I think government also needs to provide the enabling environment for things to happen. And this is an often overused word as an enabling environment, but it reads infrastructure near the other. If you ask me, I'll say right from day one, when we thought of the IAI, we should have brought the infrastructure to the fore. That railway was a must. We must build it, right? The seed money that you need to drive this thing should be ring-fenced by finance to support us, so you can leverage that to raise other funding. Into some of these things are things which you come to terms with as you are in the private sector and you are being pulled away with so many different priorities. And of course, private sector is also buffeted by global events and macroeconomic things that are outside of your control. But in government, it's magnified. Okay, Ghana, COVID, Ukraine, war, these are things that can take you off course in some of the things that you're doing, because you then have to focus on delivering the immediate priority, which in our case, or the case of the NPP government, was about saving lives and making sure that we do that, and then we build the economy. So these are some of the things that were unique lessons in a sense, which are unique because you're operating within the public space.
Yo, Chairman Michael Ansa, and I need him come on. Bethel Radio and TV. Chairman, my imagine say, Chairman be obeba habia no. Minim say, brebe swam or baha face to face. Nyanko poya adoma.
Actually, before you go further, that's one other thing. We talk about things that you learned in public service. No, it's accountability. Sure. Okay, accountability, leadership with integrity and accountability. I'm proud to say, I served in GIADEC for 6 years. It's about accountability. And very early on, we set up systems in place to make sure that we're driving a very transparent organization. We're accountable through Auditor General, through all the other groups that were had supervisory or governing requirements to look at the things that we're doing. You have to make sure that all these things were done well. So we put in place systems that delivered on this. We put in place structures that delivered on this. And also getting good people. By God's grace, I was able to build a very good and dedicated team. Maybe Kojo Yanka UK by Kojo Yanka worked extremely hard. He lived and breathed GIADEC, and that was very important in terms of building trust in the organization. We brought some very strong people from the private sector who came to help to lead things as directors, and those sorts of things. Building that team and creating that culture in that organization was something that we also brought in that helped to drive efficiency in the public space. Into accountability, integrity, and driving efficiency with a good team was a crucial thing that we delivered, and that also reinforced my understanding of working in the public sector.
I saw on your social media page, Facebook, that when you were doing the handing over, I think it was one of the best people were commending you of your handover. How did it go?
Well, it went extremely well. It went well because, with all these things, you even prepare beforehand. I made a point of meeting with the newly appointed CEO. I had a drink with him. We talked through things. I explained everything that we had done, the things that he needed to watch, just giving my advice. And we agreed that we'll do this handover. He was very, he listened very well and took notes and all that kind of thing. So we did this together. Now, look, we're handing over this. As far as I'm concerned, this is a national agenda. It was set up under President Akufo-Addo, but his view was that this was going to be transformational to the Ghanaian economy. So it will not. It's not about one parliament or one government or 5 years or 10 years. It's a multi-year development plan that we have put in place. So I emphasized that to him. He understood that. We went and we did the handover in front of all the staff. And I told them how proud I was for what we had achieved together as a team, handing over the team, telling them that this is your new boss. Work very closely with him, help him to deliver what we started. And that's what we did. So we spent time before the handover. I managed to meet him before then. And of course, we also delivered. And I think that spoke throughout that whole process, what people saw on television, and that was reported in the news.
Thank you very much, Chairman Mike Asa. Chairman, Mami Musa, we later on, me who ye say oko contest a year parliamentary candidate for Sujaman. Then motivate you to take that step.
Politics, I was brought up in a political home and everything. Like I said, my grandfather served, my father served. I've been very close to everything going on in that region or in that district, that constituency over the years. NPP UK, which really contributed to the winning of 2016, was adopting constituencies. We presented a plan to the National Executive, John Boy Dunumne, chairman, blamed by the time, said, one chair constituencies in all the diaspora branches, right? Into what chair constituencies in diaspora branches? No, we had 10 constituencies. US also had about 10. Other smaller branches had less than us. And the idea was to raise resources and to nurture these constituencies, work with the elected parliamentary candidates, work with the constituency, from the constituency chairman to their executives and area coordinators and executives, polling station executives. When we brought this plan in, we worked very closely with constituencies. And that was one of the things that was a game changer in 2016. We poured resources, not just money, but people on the ground working in these constituencies. NPP UK, out of the 10, we delivered 7 seats in terms of helping constituencies to win those seats for the party. And of course, US and others also contributed in that way. And that, for me, was a backbone of our success in 2016. Ewa Babio, for instance, led the work that we were doing from UK, on the constituency work, Yama chapter. So BR played a role, so everybody felt owned the work that we did, in 2016 to deliver that election victory. And for me, I think NPP UK can stand proud of that work. In fact, Nanado administration here, diaspora branches are. NPP UK had over 25 appointments from Nanado. And I'm talking some very serious senior appointments as well. So we delivered people to support the government. We delivered resources and people to win the elections. And we contributed significantly during that administration. And see, I just thought I'd make that point. Okay. But the support that we gave to constituencies and things, so Jamal, for instance, I personally adopted it from Osami or Nomtai to Paul Ansanum, Edudakwa Nomtai. Edudakwa say was from NPP UK. All the support that we gave, meant that I was close to the constituency. So into me back and I'm here to my foundational work for Gia Decnary and Absido. Said my two had there is the opportunity to run to become a member of parliament and to continue my work in supporting the community. I mean, politics at the end of the day is about serving your people. That's the bottom line. Yeah. Indeed, who your politics are, serving your people, being close to your people was important. I did a lot of things with the traditional authorities, with chiefs, with churches, with communities, and all kinds of groups in the Sojaman constituency. And that made me got me close to the people, and of course with the party on the ground. And that led me to say, look, this is something that I have to do at this stage in my life to contribute to the growth and the development of the party, and also to the development of the constituency. So representing my people was key. I know I have something to offer, given my experience, my service in the party. And these are the things that motivated me to be a candidate in the primaries, in 2023 for that election. So, it's all about being close to the people and helping to deliver this in that way.
Chairman Mami Musa, do you still have that ambition?
Well, we are politicians. We are politicians. I didn't say my desire is to serve the people. My desire is to see Ghana develop. My desire is to see Ghana positioned on the pedestal where it should be as a leading nation in Africa that is driving a lot of change. That potential is still there. This country is blessed, beyond measure. It needs great leadership. It needs the right leadership. And I think I offer that leadership in many ways. I offer that vision, that idea to be able to drive some of the things that we're talking about. Sadly, the politics that we are practicing today, in some ways, has got huge challenges. I saw some survey out today about, the delegate systems and things that we have, et cetera, et cetera. The method of selection of candidates has in many ways been, dare I say, corrupted, in a way which makes it difficult for you to get to the point where people are choosing on the basis of people's ability, what they can offer and what they can drive. The monetization, as people talk about, has become too much. Okay, and that is the territory we're working in. You've got to work with what you have, but at the same time, we have a long way to go to change that culture and to transform people's minds, to make them focus on, selecting people who can actually deliver and do their job. I'm an ardent believer in the separation of powers. Okay, go to parliament to become a legislator, to make laws, not go to parliament to become a minister. Okay, and now we have a culture where you go to parliament, if you don't become a minister, your constituency or call parliament, you're yet minister. But you're going to parliament to make laws. And I think, through this constitutional reform or changes that recently the government launched, one of the things that came out strongly is the separation of powers. Okay, so let's build a parliament that will be full of legislators who want to legislate, and form an executive that will appoint ministers from outside parliament to be able to help a president to execute his agenda. These are some of the things that we have to do. The system that we have for selecting parliamentary candidates, again, has improved significantly. We're even increasing the number of people who are voting today, but we need to get to the point where we take money out of it. We demystify the whole process so that we can get quality candidates coming out, quality candidates, and not just people who have money and can throw money about to win elections. These are the sort of things that we need to help to build on to improve what we have today.
Chairman Mike Ansa, former CEO of GUIDEC and former chairman NPP UK, Edinkomo. Chairman, presidential primaries baso aspirant ni nyina no enam eba pro is very crucial to the party. Mami Musa, how do you assess various aspirants and their supporters so far?
Very good question. And a very relevant one at this time, a few days to the election. We are available to be of service to our nation. As a collective, I think we have unfinished business as MPP and as individuals. We have unfinished business. We need to go back and form a government that will deliver the kind of transformation that I know we can deliver. A government that has a kind of vision to bring the transformation that this nation needs. And to do so, you need a certain type of person to lead, to advocate for this change or to advocate for this leadership and all that kind of thing. To say me call government who say there are things that I've learned I'm a better person than I used to be. There are things that I've understood that I'll do differently. Sometimes being on the battlefield helps to train you and to develop you and to strengthen you for the future. Nipa standing as presidential candidates, they've all had different roles in either as an MP or cabinet minister or party official, or they've all variously contributed to the party and contributed to the task of government. Okay, Inti, what's your presidential prime minister say here? NPP is preparing for what is crucial primaries. Okay, we'll share how you assess the conduct of the aspirants and their supporters so far. In a sense, this is not the first time we're holding presidential primaries. From 1992, Dubois Ahenum time, Eba Kufuor time, Eba Nanado time, all the way till now, we've held primaries. We've had situations where very few people are standing, where 17 people are standing. Your party and so on. We have a lot of debate. We believe in democracy, so there's a lot of debate, sometimes over the top. But we deliberate on things, we argue things out, we discuss things. But to the extent that, it is the force of persuasion that should change people's minds, I think we have veered off that course. So, Sesiano, we'll share process now. Of course, we're going to have an election on the 31st. We've got 5 aspirants today. We'll share the way the campaign has been conducted. Of course, today with social media, all tools are being deployed. We're going around, we're speaking to delegates, telling them, things that we want to do and things like that. I don't think the election has focused so much on policies. I would even have loved a debate of these 5 aspirants standing there, people asking them questions about what they will do for the party, what they will do for the nation, what they will do about various things. Okay, but we haven't had that kind of debate. We've had various, the meeting and, mudslinging and even insults and things like that that have marred what should otherwise have been a very robust and competitive election in that sense. Of course, it's still competitive, but there's been some negative elements which personally I wouldn't subscribe to. So now, what should the conduct of the candidate and so on? Every candidate, as we often say, has reasons why they are standing and has a lot to offer to the party. Various, Obia one is strengths, Obia's one is weaknesses. Okay, but I've been in this party, like I said, since 1992. I know all of them to a degree, and I know some more than others. Okay, I've worked closely with some to more than others. But of the people standing, I see His Excellency, former Vice President, as somebody who, is prepared and positioned to lead this nation. Somebody who, of course, has been beaten up, has been prepared, has been shaped to be able to drive the change that we want to see. Somebody who also listens, somebody whose demeanor and character can be formed or has been formed in a way which will help to drive the values of this party. You see, this party has enduring values. Enduring values are values that date back to before even my time. Okay, so before we were born, this party has grown as part of a tradition, and that tradition is what's being passed on. Who will be the right custodian of this tradition? Who will respect the values of the party? Who will help us to drive the kind of change that we want to see? And I think he offers that. He's also visionary and everything. I think he can play a role that will really help to pull and unite this party. Let's see what the delegates will say on the 31st. But, that's what I think. There's been intense competition. Sometimes it's been overboard. There's a need for discipline and restraint. Okay, we've been there before. We've seen very fractious elections before. Sometimes it's led to very leading members, Chebatinum leaving the party and things like that. But, let's remember that we are a family. At the end of the day, we have to come back together. And though this has been ill-tempered, we have it in ourselves to unite as a party after these primaries and then to take on the NDC. That is ultimately what we have to do. Yeah. And to offer that credible alternative position as an opposition party that will propel us to power. We have to convince the people of Ghana. We will not convince the people of Ghana if there's lack of discipline, there's disrespect within our ranks, There's mudslinging within our ranks. There are character questions and things within our ranks. We can't do that. We've got to all, come under the flag of NPP and under the values and the things that institutionally has been set up for our party and build forward.
So Chairman Mike Ansa is declaring on Bethel Radio and TV that he is supporting the former Vice President, His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct. I'm fully in support of him, and this is not the first time I'm saying this. I've been working in Suljamang, other parts of the Eastern region and things, and this is what I believe is the right thing for this party at this time.
Thank you very much. Chairman, meda wasipi na mamimra we nyankopon ya adoma after 31st nyankopon ya adoma Saturday ya no. We need to build a stronger party to win 2028 election. What advice do you have to give to various aspirants and their supporters after 31st?
Election. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. The strength of your character and your commitment to the party is tested more when you lose. Because that time when they say, who say you are part of a family, how do you bring everybody back together? How do you lift the phone to speak to the one who won the election? Say, congratulations, you have won this election. I'm here, I'm able to support you from here to 2028. Let's put our hands together. Let's put our resources together. Let's work to deliver this victory. Give me the advice. I remember 5 candidates and they said, yes, we've gone through all this process. We are going to speak with one voice as a party. When the party has spoken, the party has spoken. I will expect everybody to come together to support who wins this election and to deliver that support unconditionally, to be able to drive us as a united party. We can't win an election if we are not united. We can only win if we're united. So for me, that unity effort is going to be crucial. The advice I have for followers of all the 5 candidates is that we are members of one family. We are members of one party. Yes, we have gone through this very tough electioneering process or electioneering timetable. We are going to be voting on the 31st. We should all resolve the peace deal that the agreement that they signed should not just be words on paper. It should have meaning. It should translate on the ground to how we will come together and proclaim, and really support whoever is elected, proclaim that person as our leader and work together. So for me, I think that advice is all about how we act after this election. That will show maturity. It will show Ghanaians that, yes, we are a truly democratic party. Nobody wants that tag of being the person that brought about disunity in the party, or that brought about the breaking up of the party or anything like that. I firmly believe that we will stand firm, we will stand united, we will stand committed. I have confidence in the 5 people who are standing today to be able to marshal their forces and deliver all of them to the party so that we can become one and we can all go behind who wins this election to take our party forward and for us to deliver 2028 victory.
Chairman Mike Ansa. Chairman, NPP UK is listening to you. Ghanaians in the diaspora, everybody, a lot of people are listening to you on social media, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. What are your final message?
First of all, you refer to diaspora. Yes. Diaspora who are listening to this and things. I want to take this opportunity to congratulate the NPP in the diaspora. It's a lot of commitment for people in the diaspora to support the party the way that we have or they have, over the years. And let's continue that way, because the diaspora can help this party to stand, can help this party to transform, to help this party to move forward. We've got rich human capital within the diaspora, people with vast experience, people who are able to mobilize resources and things like that. And then as a nation too, I think we should look at our laws that will help the diaspora people participate more effectively in national development. Our constitution, for instance, needs to be looked at again. This has been proposed in the amendments that they are talking about, so that diaspora people can participate, run for parliament, to do all kinds of things. Dual citizenship should not be debarred from doing these things. I think the diaspora, the resource or the richness of the resource that exists in the diaspora is something that should be highly commended. And I've seen it not just in NPP UK, but across all the diaspora branches, around. So for me, the message that I have for NPP UK members, NPP in Europe, NPP in the diaspora, is that let's keep continuing working hard to support the party and to build a strong and sound base that can help to deliver elections and can contribute to the nation's development. In terms of a final message, what I'll say to the party is that we are at a very crucial stage in our party's history. We are really at an inflection point. 31st January, a very important day in the history of NPP. My prayer is that the voice of our delegates will be clear and resounding. My prayer is that we'll be able to unite as a party beyond that. We'll be able to do the things that will show the kind of political tradition that we are, that believes in democracy. It will call for discipline. It will call for careful consideration in the decisions that will affect the fortunes of the party. Maybe I firmly believe, say you're returning to basics, to our enduring values. Niema, I endear us to the people of Ghana. Niema, yeah, Ghana for pet, antia, womo to abak, say the man, and Akufuado. Womo to abapa, the man, Kufuo de power. In that same way, no, we should return to those values that unite us, those values that make us stand clear and unique in the political arena in Ghana. Indeed, that's what we need. You hear a lot of selflessness. You hear leaders are selfless. What do we want to our party? Discipline. We need all that kind of thing in full measure to drive things. Indeed, you say build a party on the bedrock of these values that we've always had, and underlying all of this is discipline and respect for one another. And that's the kind of message that I have for the party.
Yo, Chairman, you better CP say ne wonya kwan ama we die wankasa wa unia unene ye wa administration Richard Dombo Yankopon fa ne currency ni nua ba Mercy Dombo ene ne kru na bie dwuma kese se yemfa mwa NPP UK yemfa mwa NPP ma yenya platform a betimi communicate in opposition no ye hia a platform like this to communicate. Again, I will catch you, Chairman.
Oh, Juma one year the Juma can say. I mean, radio station communication. I mean, the can I say communication is very, very important. See, when we are setting up station here, a carry NPP message to people in the diaspora, to people in Ghana, to people everywhere. That is a crucial contribution. SD Dobo was a founding, traditional. It's Buzia Dankwa Dombo tradition. You see, and Dombo is a key part of this party. And to see, say, Nasefo and Net are making such a huge contribution. Mebo Abasopa, and NPP UK Dawanse, diaspora branches Dawanse, NPP nationally Dawanse, Ojuma Kesia Omudi, and Yankoso Sa. Now it is vehicles like this. Now, yet to me carry a message. Now 2028, yet to me a platform. You're the best send the NPP message out there. You're the best winning elections.
Yo, Chairman Mike Asa, Jacopo ya domna ubefiezo a high fee, Tembia no utimi baha na ya chuchum komo in the studios, Bethel Radio and TV. Medasipi say, and you may unya bread my.
Medasipa say also. We frame 7 in electric commerce. And your cover grounds we bring.
Yes.
We hope say we team some questions are we bisano answers are mama no has helped to improve maybe their understanding or appreciation of what we did in the past, what we are doing now, and what we should do together in the future. when we are all called upon, we want to serve to the best of our ability, with integrity, with accountability. Near the party, not calling him. Even that's a power for this opportunity.
Yo, me da CP. Nipa 200 and I share on Facebook. And she have a brave. She may read your message. No, the amount da CP say onya bread at the buy. Am I?
You, Miss Medase, Nyamisha with you, any double family no for radio station. I'm set here.
Okay.
Medase.
Da CP. A chairman Mike Ansa, a former chairman of NPP, and also a former CEO of Guidec, and I didn't train como Bethel Radio and TV. So, former chairman Mike Ansa, and I didn't come on. Aha, a Bethel Radio and TV. Aha, and a Ghana Kasa, Hana Viase Kasa, Hana NPP Kasa, Hana Diaspora de Kasa. Aha, ye be ya kwan e de ato ha ma bibia. So bia opeso kana sem de chire wiase presidential primaries ye basu wa opeso o kan wasem bia kwanya wo ho a ye ma kwan a obia betimi akana adwen a chire na adwen wo abotre kwan so nya didi atem kwan so eno nti ne ya hyehyɛ dwumadie bia ye friends decision time 2026 nyankopon ye adoma eye Saturday be ya ye presidential primaries Bethel Radio and TV said ye yakano nyankopon ya adoma no nsia pepepe 31st no ye betra se e ofia se na ya bobo enkomo ya twetwe nkomo about the 5 presidential aspirants no one na win projection from the last primaries obia ho ode ni nyina ye be ya analysis ni ofia menya akukudam a ombeba no mo ne ya betra se ne yedi nkomo saa so na eye presidential aspirants no obia rep so beba fie ha se ya ombeba ne ani ya ba bedi nkomo menya independent people also coming in saa so na journalists so ombeba no ombeba boaye ye benya report every Ghana all the polling centers ni nyina ye benya reporters wo ho a omo de report bebre delegate omo free UK omo koya omo koto aba no ye ne omo bekasa hefa na omo nam de na ekoso omo koya omo asetremu ti say hefa na omo nam ni nyina no nyankopon ya adoma 31st January 6 o'clock AM na ya transe na ye de ahyehye nti enyi wa fidie ni mfiri Bethel TV and Radio aha na UK kasa aha na Ghana kasa nti nyankopon ya adoma memeda munhia ye no nsia na ye ni sa nkomo no enne maboafo a eso masene ma me di dwumadi ebre o ye Livingstone Healthcare omo ne boa me ma me di eye dwumadi ebre o Livingstone Healthcare o say passion for quality and dignified care omo na eboa me ma me edi dwumadi ebae saa so na eye Atalia Nursery omo so eso masene ma me di eye dwumadi ebre mo enye omo nko a omo ne Bethel photography and videography omo so masene ma me de so ye party wedding any program bia wo ye bia no for oni kire Bethel photography and videography na ye beba ba betwa ma na ye kama ye wo drones a se wo pese ye de fa wiem ye twa so a ye de betwa ne kama ma ye twa pictures ni videos na within 24 hours na on sa kan wadwuma na ye kama nti for oni kire ye Bethel videography and photography ubetimi afro mo 0754 8342 0754-8342-670. Saso na Palm Island Lounge. Omoso no restaurant housing. Aduane bi a ope bi a obenya o Palm Island. Say fufu banku ne tilapia. Die hu awachi ene minya bi di enya asem ketwa kra. Aduane na de yie pa. Chinchinga die na ope. Ensa bi a ope bia na ewo Ghana unum bia che nsa fufuo pito Fanta malt Ghana beer ni nyina obenya bi o Palm Island omo ene so masne ma ene medi dwumadi ebremo mi producer ene otamachi ma medi dwumadi ebrewo ye mi ankasa me bra Julius the Don papa ono ne boa mi chinchin fidie ma ye di dwumadi ebremo me Thomas Ohinba Boache na me tena adwom ma me di dwumadi ebremo Samre amekwe ma menchi adwumawura eye Mercy Dombo ene Richard Ejare Mada Roma ene etimi betena na etimi ene Ghana ekasa. Yankopon ya adoma echina yebesa ahia ewo ha biem. Aha ye Bethel Radio and TV makramo.
Ghana betu pono